Hey everyone, just wanted to let everyone know this episode contains some spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, The Last of Us, God of War, and Sly Cooper. Enjoy!
I'll start off a little bit of ASMR.
Ooh.
Welcome back to the Just Two Dudes podcast.
That's it.
That's the intro.
Ooh.
Ooh. Well, I mean, we completely forgot to do the intro for the last one, really.
That's true. We did it at the end, and I cut it out and put it at the beginning. And
Well,
I kept us saying, cut that out and put it at the beginning, so we sound like fucking insane people.
Well, that's pretty classic. That's so funny.
Yep.
Oh, well, you know, we're back. Just having our usual just weekly chats. you
Yeah.
know. This week we're gonna chat about a little bit of gaming.
Yeah.
Gonna go wide branch, and then maybe in the consecutive weeks go into details about either different genres or different games. You know.
Yeah, I think there's a few games that we've probably played a hell of a lot together that we could have.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not their own episode, but maybe their own episode.
We can do a little focus on.
On some of them. But on the last episode, we talked about wrestling, and it all went swimmingly. But wrestling. We're not going to be talking about wrestling this week. That's all in the past. It's had its heyday, and it's done. We're done with wrestling.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah,
I'm never going to talk about wrestling again. But the one thing we didn't talk about with wrestling is probably how thinking back, this is actually probably how I got into watching wrestling, which is the classic WWE video games like SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh yes. Ooh. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 featuring ECW.
Yeah.
Or was that 2008? That might be 2008.
2008 was the first featuring ECW.
Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. What a bunch of bangers they were.
I remember being like a little kid, like around in 2008, renting that from Video Easy or essentially the Blockbuster New Zealand, just every week.
Yeah.
And then also handing it in way later and then refusing to pay the overdue fines. Because I was like, I'm child. Can't pay, sorry.
That's rebellious.
I mean, we did eventually, but...
you know. What was your favorite one of those wrestling games? Because we used to play them back in high school, but we played the bad, terrible, stupid ones. Well, they weren't awful, but they were.
Mine was SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 with
same.
prime long hair CM Punk.
Yeah, ECW CM Punk.
Yeah, ECW CM Punk.
Yeah,
dude, it was so much fun. And then they had that storyline of where it was all three champions facing off. If you got the championship.
That was cool. Yeah, and you could do the you could be the general manager.
Yeah, so cool.
Dope. Yeah.
And I'm just so sad they haven't gone back to anything kind of like that.
Yeah.
I suppose the new ones have a my career type thing, but it is just kind of
I think the most recent one we played was this 2K17 one, I guess, maybe.
No, didn't
maybe even
one of our friends
18.
bought the one with Brock Lesnar on the front.
Because I think 19.
I think that might be 9. That might be 19.
I think 19 was Seth Rollins, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it would have been.
I think it was 18.
I remember because that's the one that you get Batista in. God, it was fucking so bad. The glitches.
The glitches are apparently the new one's awful in terms of glitches.
They could just kind of try to rush them out every year. I heard there's a rumor the company that does it just doesn't want to do it, so they just spam them out.
That's 2K, right? Is that the branch that does all the sport games?
Yeah, but I mean, the games are always really
year.
buggy.
Yeah.
NBA 2K, which I used to play quite a lot, was bad. Oh yeah. So every game produced under WWE 2K series was developed by Ukes, but they finished after WWE 2K19, and 2K20 was the buggy nightmare mess.
Because I remember I think it was the ladder matches or the Money in the Bank matches were just the worst. They would always be
just
buggy
pieces of shit. Yeah, they were really good in the earlier games.
Yeah,
but then again, that also could be my brain putting on nostalgia goggles, being like, "Bro, they were so good."
Yeah, I don't know if they were good, but
I think they changed up the physics.
Yeah.
After one of them.
Yeah.
I think it might have been.
I think it was because it was SmackDown versus Raw, and then it became just like WWE, and then it was 2K.
Yeah, 2K after 14. I brought it up on Google. I think it might have been 2K14 where they changed it.
Yeah, those was some. I don't know if they were good games, but they were fun, and they were.
Yeah. Well, when you're a kid, you're just like, I like wrestling.
Yeah.
I'll play wrestling game.
Yeah. 2008 was the first one that I played, I think, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, I saw the cover in like the video store, and I was like, what is this? Because it had like The Undertaker and John Cena and I think Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley was when he was with ECW was the rep.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? And it was all like, it had like the blue background and stuff, and I was like, this is just so interesting looking, and like, I was like, what's The Undertaker? Who's The Undertaker? Oh boy.
Boy howdy. How'd you know he would end up turning into an old man with long hair who's kind of balding and real unfit? Who's lost most of his mystique, but
he sure has.
He getting that paper.
Yeah, he must be.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, as a kid, it was they were just so much fun to play.
Yeah.
And I think, like, as a young boy, where you're like, young boys are just generally like, I want to fucking punch shit and destroy things.
Yeah.
It was just like an outlet to do that, essentially.
Yeah. I always played the hardcore matches and shit, where you could just...
Oh, hell yeah. You bust your boys open before you even attempt a pin?
Yeah. Yeah. If he's not, like, covered in blood everywhere, it ain't over. We still got stuff to do.
Yeah, let's fucking take that out of context.
Please don't. Did you ever play the Legends of WrestleMania game?
Is that... Oh, that was the one where they were, like, really cartoonish, right?
Yeah, they went way too cartoonish on that show.
That was the call. That was the end for me. It was like right as I was like, eh.
Like, I was so excited about that game, and then I got it. I remember, like, getting it on my fucking PlayStation 3, jamming it, and installed it, and I was like, oh, I'm so ready. And then I, like, booted it up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why do they look like this? I think I played it, like, 3 times. Because it had a whole new, like, system as well. Like, it was like one of the mobile games or something. It was just, no.
Oh, like, off topic from wrestling, but still on the topic of gaming.
Yes.
Freaking seen the new Call of Duty Battle Royale that they just released?
No, is it out now?
Essentially, they're like, oh, we're gonna take the engine and the maps from COD, put them together, like the new Modern Warfare, and then make a giant map for a 150-player Battle Royale. But I'm still probably gonna want to play it with, like, you and thingy. Should we dox them on the podcast?
Maybe don't dox them, but...
Yeah, our little baby boy Evie.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you mean they're gonna take the engine? That sounds like they're making like a...
It's essentially using the exact same engine that they have Modern Warfare on.
Okay, like the Ground War and stuff.
Yeah, like Ground War and stuff, but turning it into like a free battle royale that's separate from the game.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just gonna be part of the... Oh, okay. That's a bit...
Yeah, but I think they wanted to make it free because that's what a lot of people complained about when they had Blackout last year.
Yep. Was that not free?
Nah, you had to buy Black Ops 4 to get.
Oh, well, Black Ops 4 was just multiplayer, eh? And zombies, I guess. Whack. I've actually always kind of enjoyed the campaigns of Call of Duty.
For me, it's mostly just been the Modern Warfare, but that, again, nostalgia. You know, when you're just like deep in the game where you've been playing COD 4 for like 80 hours.
Yeah. And Modern Warfare 2. Oh,
hell
those two.
Yeah.
The peak. Okay. I think Black Ops came out between them. Or no.
Ooh. Black Ops came out after Modern Warfare 2 because it was COD 4, World at War.
World at War.
Modern Warfare 2.
World at War was a banger.
Yeah, World at War was a banger.
Fantastic.
Freaking sick. They had a really good tier of just back-to-back bangers.
Yeah. And then it started to fall off pretty hard.
Yeah,
but now it's okay with Modern Warfare. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but mostly because you play it with the boys and we can just have a dumb fun meme time, you know?
Yeah. I like the campaign. It did some... It felt a bit short. I don't know if the other ones are all that short, but it's good to see all the boys mentioned again, or some of them anyway.
Hell yeah, your boy Captain Price. Best character in Modern Warfare, hands down.
Captain Price?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Give me some Soap,
Ghost and Gaz are up there, but
Soap!
Yeah, but like, Soap's only good because you played Soap in Modern Warfare 1, so you're like, that's me!
Yeah, that's true.
and then you're just like, he's so badass, I'm so badass.
Yeah.
What would you say are your like what do you say like the games that really like started you off on like your path of gaming, you know?
Oh boy.
We'll just say we won't say like the first game you played, but like ones that you feel have been like the most influential.
Yep. Oh man.
Alright. What do you think? I'll pop this one out for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, for me for RPGs
Yep.
was Knights of the Old Republic 1. If you ever
Ah,
played
yes.
that.
Yep, yep.
When I was in primary school, I played the shit out of that game. Like, I constantly died because I was a stupid kid who didn't know how to properly build characters.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, put all mine into force point or into lightsaber points because lightsabers are cool. Was me.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, like as genuinely my favorite part of Star Wars is that
Yep.
Revan era.
Yeah.
Because
that's
it's
some
just
cool
so
shit.
fucking cool. That set the tone for like all RPGs
Yeah.
for me, and also it's a BioWare game, so like
Yeah.
every BioWare game since then, I mean like, oh boy,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. Well,
mean,
most of them.
Aside from Anthem,
Yeah.
Mass
Yeah.
Effect most of the time. Aside from Andromeda I found fun, but wasn't good. The combat's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Apparently BioWare's like building Anthem from the ground up again. Apparently it's just cheaper to redo that game and instead of just make a new one.
I mean, I suppose I can't complain. I play a lot of Destiny 2,
Yeah.
and they kind of did that with both games, where they released it, and then they released a massive expansion pack that like drastically changed it, made the game like 4 times better.
Especially because I think the first Destiny had some controversy around what people thought it was going to be compared to what it was.
But I mean, I think a lot of people came at it like, bruh, this gonna be always online Halo.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. The biggest thing I remember was the ships, because everyone thought it was going to be like, you hop in a ship and you fly to another planet and you fuck people up, but it's just like, the ships were just kind of like a cutscene. And I think
Yeah, it's
that's
like
what,
loading screens.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, no, I wanted it to be open world. Like
Yeah,
No Man's
what?
Sky, or something like that.
Ooh, No Man's Sky. Talk about like it went from most hype to most
Yeah.
hated, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of carved a nice place out for itself because they
Yeah.
really like eventually delivered on everything they promised.
Yeah, I think
Not
they
bad.
they wanted to get it out and they just released
Yeah.
it too soon.
They were just too ambitious, and also their game director definitely lied to the public. But then he came
Yeah.
through on his promises in the end, so
Yeah. What a
it kind of righted itself.
Yeah.
It also got, because all the hype and the hate got forgotten because the internet has the brain of a goldfish. So like when they were updating it, they were like, yeah, this game was bad, but everyone was like, oh, these quality of life changes are good. It's fine now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you say is like a real influential game for you?
Oh, in terms of, because I just used to play video games for like shits and gigs, really, like
Same.
how most people do. But then you kind of like, some of them you're like, oh, I think this is more than just Lego Star. Like I'll put Lego Star Wars on the list because I love that game and I spent so long.
Oh boy, did you
Getting
hear
all
they're
those-
making the ultimate pack
I know.
with like massive quality of life changes apparently?
I'm very excited. I'm gonna jam that shit. That's pretty much the only type of video games my girlfriend likes to play. Lego games. So we'll
So
be
you play
playing
Lego
that together. We
Nice.
started playing. We did like an hour of Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh, and she hated it?
I don't know. She was like, it was cool, but then I think I'd played it before, and I was still like, what's going on? How do I? What? And then, so I think she was also like, what the fuck? Because I've also got
this
like,
mof.
yeah, because I've got like the nerd aspect of like, I like the fantasy and the RPG and the Dungeons and Dragons. She doesn't really, so she was just like, what is
Dog,
this?
I'm so hyped for Baldur's Gate. Like,
Ooh, I know.
just because they're changing the system to reflect the D&D system, which
I
I really
know.
like. I like the story of Divinity,
Yeah.
but the combat was cool, but also I didn't necessarily like it, and I kind of got burnt out on it, like pretty early into the game.
Yeah. I'm excited because a lot of Divinity is very, not confusing, but there's a big
Yeah.
learning curve to get into it.
Yeah, because it's
And-
an all new thing.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate will be the same, but not for me because I'll be like, oh, it's D&D. It's
Yeah,
I know the
They have to
spell.
abide by D&D, like
Yeah.
like Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah,
like,
they'll be
lore.
like, oh, you cast Fireball, and I'll be like, oh, I know what that does. Sweet.
Bro, 68, we good.
Yeah. 86, Toby.
Oh no! I mean, revealing now that I just played a fucking barbarian, so I don't spell very
That's
often.
what the barbarian thinks it is.
Yeah. I'm like, it do fire damage, right? It go boom.
It go boom boom. I think the first one that kind of made me realize that video games can be like competitive was I can't remember which one, but it was Need for Speed Underground.
Oh, yo.
I don't
like,
remember if
just
it
with
was
your
one
boys?
or two. Yeah, well, I used to play that as a kid, and then we went over and we used to play it in high school and stuff as well. But
Oh yeah, going over to our boy Sancho.
yeah,
Just gonna.
that was great.
I
Saturday
just
morning, like,
Hell yeah.
and Left 4 Dead. We always used to play Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh yes.
Great times. What a great grabbing pills.
Okay, here you can fight me on this, but best, most influential shooter of all time.
Uh-huh.
It's controversial because it's such a fucking jaded ass. It's an opinion, which some people will agree with, but like I find a lot of people be like, respect your roots, but it's Halo. Halo 3 is like the greatest shooter of all time for me, and I will fight people on it.
Okay. I was a PlayStation kid, so I never played Halo as a kid. I had a PlayStation 2. I didn't really play a lot of shooters. I think the first shooter I played was like the Battlefront game, like the Star Wars Battlefront. Like the OG one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean that's so good.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah. Battlefront, the original Battlefront 2 is a lot better, but the first one is also just cool as hell. It's got the little like that map sound. If anybody listening has played Star Wars Battlefront 1, and I'm talking about the map sound where it like zooms in on the planet, I feel like you are gonna remember immediately that sound.
I remember the sound. It's like a little like double dot almost like a.
Yeah, it's like the like that kind of shit. Yeah. Oh.
Hell yeah.
And the great thing about that game is, well, it's not great. It's actually kind of lame. You couldn't play as the like heroes.
Yeah. They just showed up and were
they
like.
just showed up,
boy?
but they were also invincible. And they would just, that you couldn't kill them, they would just fucking show up and wreck your shit.
It was so good.
It was real good. But then Battlefront 2 was like, oh, and the campaign in Battlefront 2,
oh boy. Oh, so good.
And then the new ones are, Actually, the new Battlefront 2, like 2017 or whatever, is pretty good now.
Once they removed the loot box.
Yeah, yikes. Most downvoted Reddit comment ever or something was when he was
yeah, it's got to be earned, and you're like
I just want to play as Darth Vader, man. I don't want to earn that. I just want to do it. Come on.
Oh, it's something about being like super rewarding. I'm gonna
yeah, it was like we want it to be a rewarding experience, and it's like, yeah, but it would be anyway because I'm playing as fucking Darth Vader. Especially considering he was the most expensive one you had to grind to unlock because it's Darth Vader.
Yeah, it was something worth it. It was like over 100 hours.
Yeah. Everyone wants to play as Darth Vader, my dude.
Hell yeah, like you should just make all heroes free, but sell skins if you're gonna do shit like that.
Yeah, I think that's what they do now.
Skins is fine. Yeah.
That's what they do now, but yeah.
Oh, the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment when they're unlocking different heroes. That's the one.
That's the one, the sense of pride and accomplishment. The way they have it now, you still have to like earn enough points to get the hero like in a match. So that's based on like how many kills you get or how many like places you like help out the team with. So that's still like, that would still give you a sense of pride and accomplishment. You just want money, you fucker, because you want people to buy it. But you're like, I don't want to spend 100 hours to unlock Darth Vader. I just want to play as Darth Vader, so I'll just give you money. And that's whack.
Yep, that is actual trash.
Yep. I also think, what was the other one I was going to say? Yeah, the OG Battlefront and Battlefront 2 kind of got me into, like, the shooting genre, I think. Like, I didn't really know what that was before.
See, for me, like, I used to go over to my mate's house, and we would just play Halo 2. Yeah. And then, when the new Xbox was coming out, I was like, move over PS2, and then I became an Xbox kid. And, I mean, I don't have any regrets, because I honestly think Halo 2 was the most influential shooters, at least to me. Because so much now is dictated by what Halo did, and they really like it was the first massively multiplayer like shooter that really took off and got super competitive. Oof. Like there's still Halo championships now in the latest one. I think the latest one's Halo 5.
Well, that kind of started this whole thing we see now, like League of Legends and Fortnite championships or whatever with Ninja. Have you seen Ninjas?
Dude,
Ninja.
Ninja's a tryhard. That's all I'm gonna say.
Did you see his? Let me.
His freaking tweet where he's like, losing is like, why do you accept the feeling of losing? Something like that.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. The phrase, "It's just a game," is such a weak mindset. You're okay with what happened, losing, imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle. And it's like, I get what you're trying to say, but like...
You're trying to be like inspiring to all the kids and be like, yo, just keep going. Go, you know?
But that's not what happens when you get angry after a game. That's just like, anger is not the same thing as like learning something. And also, I know you just said it's just a game, but like, it is, you know?
Yeah, like, okay, I can understand.
I know he gets money from it. Yeah, he gets like his big, huge billions. Because that's like his job is to be good at Fortnite, right? I don't know.
So
if
he can't accept it's just a game.
And that's fine.
For everyone else, calling people like, be like, bro, you're such a failure.
Yeah, using some racial slurs in Call of Duty lobbies or like whatever.
Yeah, just be PewDiePie, drop an N-word in PUBG, and you're like, no, PewDie, why? Just don't say it.
Yeah, PewDiePie, controversial. Have you seen Ninja cut bread though? That's a classic.
No. How does Ninja cut bread?
He doesn't do it very well, that's for sure. He's on some like cooking show or something. I don't know. It's like he's never done it before. And I don't
is he on Bon Appetit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I don't want to... I really like Bon Appetit as a cooking show. I enjoy all the people. But yeah, no, what do you think, what's a game that you have really, like, grown more appreciative of that you have played previously? Like, something that you played and you let it marinate in you, and then you've been like, oh shit, this game is so good. Like, I'm so glad that I played it.
Oh, man.
I'll give you a little example. For me, hands down for me, like The Witcher 3 is like, when I played that game, like The Witcher 3, also like kind of in the same vein as Skyrim, you play that game and you're like, I'm so appreciative of like the time and effort the developers put into this. Yeah. But also how easy it is to just slip into that world.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, Skyrim's like one of the biggest games of all time. I feel like even if you don't play a lot
Gonna have it on our forks soon. On our toasters. Bethesda. Skyrim now available on your toaster.
Did you see the CD Projekt Red when they were talking about the Cyberpunk? And they said that if you buy it on the Xbox One, you can get a free upgrade to the new Xbox, because like...
That's so cool.
Yeah, they were like, no one should have to pay for it twice. And like, all the comments were like, Bethesda, listen.
I really wish they would do that on PlayStation. Because now it's incentivizing me to... I'm not going to get an Xbox. And the new Xbox. Because I have a beefy PC.
Yeah, I just like the PlayStation. I don't know. I just... Give me the Last of Us. Please!
Ooh, Last of Us 2 coming out? Boy. Okay, Naughty Dog, I think, has one of the best track records.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Consistently delivering amazing games.
Yeah.
And also, Naughty Dog, I hit that right point in the childhood where I started gaming, like right as Crash Bandicoot 1 came out.
Oh, yes.
So I played like Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3.
Yeah.
And then, we don't talk about any of the other Crashes because... and then Jak and Daxter, like Jak 1, Jak 2, Jak 3, I played them all so good.
Yeah.
I hated Jak 2 with a passion because it was too hard for me as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And same with Jak 3, but like I went back as an adult and beat them and really appreciated them.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, there was some store, kind of like JB Hi-Fi, but not JB Hi-Fi, which I don't even know if that's a thing outside of New Zealand and Australia. It's just like a big store where you can buy all sorts of electronics and stuff, but when I was a kid, there was one in Australia that was... you could go play like the latest PlayStation 2 games, or I don't know if they were the latest, but...
it was that big thing that had a big, like, beefy PS2 sign.
Yeah, and you'd
had the controllers attached to things.
Yeah, and I always used to go and play Ratchet and Clank and Crash Bandicoot and stuff on those. Ratchet and Clank. Ooh, classic.
Ratchet and Clank 2, yeah, that's a classic. That actually, I would say, like, when it comes to 3D space, third-person game is the defining game for me in the third-person, like, action genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strafing?
Yeah. I would say that back to your first question, I think. In terms of a game can have a story, it would be the Uncharted games.
Oh yeah,
The
so
first
good.
one is good, but going back on it now, you kind of like, it's still
I think
good, but it's a little lighter than the others.
yeah, but I also think it's to do with like the controls at the time.
Yeah, but
'Cause
then Uncharted
boy
2,
howdy,
you're like, oh boy.
Uncharted 2 is my favorite from the series, and it's just because it plays so well. The
Yeah.
story is like super. It captures everything I love about Indiana Jones because it's essentially just action Indiana Jones, like gaming Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I fucking love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Fuck yes.
So
Yes.
I love them Nazis.
Oh.
Cut that out. No.
Take that out of context.
Yeah, no,
Yikes.
but like the fact, like especially in Uncharted 1, with it's the Nazis that have turned into weird, slippery monkeys, like slippery naked monkeys. Hilarious. And then Uncharted 2, where they
That's-
randomly have a
that's
Nazi
such a
dude being like, "Hitler sent me here, but I'm really a good guy," and you're like, "You're a Nazi though. Please, please go in the bin."
Yep. If you're a Nazi, go in the bin.
You can take that one out of context because that one always works.
That's always in context. Also, I think it was the first ever game that I played that I tried multiplayer because I never really knew how to do that. I just played like games on my PlayStation 3, and then I was like, "Oh, this one says multiplayer. What even is that?" Was actually Modern Warfare 2 because I was in intermediate or like yeah.
Excuse me, were you underage? So, because I played around the exact same age anyway.
Yeah, and like we were on camp, all my like classmates were talking about this new game coming out, and I didn't really like know about gaming news, and I didn't really know where to get it. I just used to go to the video store every weekend or whatever and get a game, and every month I think it was like United Video used to put out like newsletters to be like, hey, this game's coming out, and I was like, oh cool. So I had no idea that a game was even coming out unless it was coming out within a month. They were talking about Modern Warfare 2 and like you could use, for the first time in Call of Duty, you could use akimbo, and I was like, what the fuck is akimbo? And like,
Yeah, you're like, wow.
the heartbeat sensors, and that was the one thing I remember. They were like bugging over the heartbeat sensors, and I was like,
It's
that
because
sounds really cool.
the trailer came out at E3, and it's
Yeah.
that the trailer was the snow
The
mission.
snow mission, yeah, dope.
Oh, so good.
And then I got that, and then I was like, oh, it says multiplayer on the back. And I was like, how do I do that? And I went into the settings of the game, and it was like, the settings of my PlayStation. It was like, you can connect to the internet. And I was like, what the fuck? What? What?
To put this also into perspective, by this time, like when PS3 had online, it was still free, but Xbox still had Xbox Live, which was
Yeah.
like a service.
Yes.
So you were playing for free, and I was paying money.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Chump. Yep. Because you had, was Xbox Live? Was that what it was?
Xbox Live.
is it
Xbox,
still what
it's
it's
like
called?
gold.
Yeah.
But like, it was so worth it because Halo 3 multiplayer was fight me better than Call of Duty at any point in time. The community was so much better.
Oh,
It
I
wasn't
won't lie to you there, but
that
I think
toxic.
the toxic community in Modern Warfare 2 was hilarious, and I like because it was just because this was kind of before parties. I think there weren't
Yeah.
really parties, so you just had to like go in, and if you wanted to talk to your friends, you had to do it in game.
Parties
chat.
were a thing on. I know they were a thing on Xbox because I used to get into a party with.
Yeah, they would.
Okay.
They were.
I used to play Xbox, like Halo 3, religiously with like a group of friends. One of my old friends who moved to Napier, and then like 4 or 5 other people who were at least like 10, no, not 10, like 6 or 7 years older than me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like all these people like in the midst of like high school, and here's me being like, "Hey guys," and like intermediate.
I feel like based on the no party chat thing on PlayStation, I had a way more just like random friends that like I didn't know in person. I would just like
Oh yeah, heaps.
talk to them, and they'd be lads in a match and in the game of Search and Destroy or something. They wouldn't roast you. But yeah, now it's just I don't even know what the game chats are like, because whenever we play, it's in a party and
Yeah,
it just mutes their audio, so I don't even And I
it's
feel
such
like
a nice experience.
everyone else is also just in a party chat. There's occasionally people who are just like, I don't know,
out memeing.
just insane people, out talking in game chat.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'll let you know. I've been experiencing more people outside of party chat recently
Oof.
because me and a bunch of my buddies from my old work, we all play Destiny together,
Oh yeah.
and we do the Destiny 2, or the Destiny 2. We do Destiny 2 raids,
Yeah.
but we don't have enough people to like get all of the boys in, you know. So
yes.
it's me and two others. So we had to find 3 randos, and it's a roll of the dice to see how good. I've got like the worst one was this kid who was probably, I'd say 12,
Oof.
and the most ADHD person I've ever met in my life. Where he would not listen to any of us in like a raid we are entirely meant to be cooperating the whole time.
Yep.
And he was like, "Bro, check out my TikTok. I got a TikTok."
Oh no.
Woo! I mean, and then like we tried to explain raid concepts to him, which you need to like complete it, and he just wouldn't listen.
Oh man.
And it was the most painful hour of my life. And I then went, I just never want to be out of a party chat ever again.
Yeah. Back to your second question. I don't know. I feel like it's some game that had like a story, and I was just playing it as a kid, and I was like, you know what? I think it would be Red Dead Redemption.
Ooh, Red Dead?
Yeah, because when I first played, I would have been like 11 or something, and I mean, I was just running around doing cowboy shit, and then I finished the game, and I think I was just kind of like, yeah, because like, spoiler alert, if you haven't played Red Dead Redemption, the main character fucking eats shit and dies.
I got real sad. I was super invested in that story.
Yeah, and then you play as his little son. When I first played it, I was like, oh, that's lame. I don't, nah, that's lame. And I didn't really appreciate it, and then I went back and played it. It was in high school, I think. I went back and played it when I was a bit older, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Just the whole story, and especially there are some moments where, as a kid, you just, like, when you first go to Mexico, and they're playing that, like, sick-ass music.
Oh, dog. Jose Gonzalez?
Yeah. And I
remember it because I looked that shit up, and I used to play that all the time. In high school, of course.
Yeah. When you're a kid, you're like, oh, I just want to get to the next place to shoot some people. And you don't, like, appreciate the moments like that. Like in the,
yeah. Like after, like, crazy intensity.
Yeah,
that, like...
in the new one, when he gets back from Guama, and you just, like, ride back to camp.
Oh, yeah.
And that, like, music's playing. I can't remember what.
I just love all that stuff because it's like, there's always these big moments of intensity, and then you just get that time to really sit and marinate about what everything's going on. It's like this like beautiful thing. A lot of people complained about Red Dead Redemption 2 that it was just horse riding everywhere. It's because you go through these really high points of action, like back to back to back, and you really need time to digest what's going on and how you feel as the character.
Yeah.
Because by the end of that, I was so
invested in Arthur. Yeah.
That character to me, like, he was like him and John are like all about redemption, and
but not for themselves.
Yeah, Arthur is a man who realizes the world is changing, and like is going from like his lowest point being a really bad dude in a gang to kind of becoming the voice of reason as they exit out.
Yeah.
As the age of the outlaw comes to an end, and then John Marston's very much he's redeeming himself for his family.
Yeah.
He's doing what it will take for him and his family to be safe and free, which is what the second game really like continues on, and you can really play them back to back.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You could. And then what I think is really interesting is that like apparently they both failed because Jack still ends up in the same lifestyle as them.
Yeah,
which is
very
sad.
Super interesting. But like I don't think that's a direct result of them. I think it's a direct result of essentially the government punishing obviously his dad and everyone that he's known.
Yeah.
So it's like I suppose it is kind of their fault because he kind of becomes a product of the system.
Yeah.
And then rebels against it because of what happened. Pretty deep, yo.
Very deep. It's all about that revenge, yo. Revenge bad.
What would you say your top 5?
Oh, video games?
Was influential. Yeah, like I'll just say the top 5 games you feel like really made an impact or influenced on you.
Right.
Since we're on this topic of games that like really freaking affected us, and then we can have a little breakdown of each.
Yeah.
After you're done with your list.
I think I don't know if it's gonna be. This is quite like fairly recent, and when I say fairly recent, I've just realized like 7 years old. But oof. The Last of Us.
Oh, dude.
Is, I think, probably the most influential to me.
Ooh, that's a hot, spicy take.
It is, but it's in terms of like what a video game can be. I feel like they could have really leaned into the whole like you make choices and you can decide what happens, but then I also just like because I feel like all the decisions that Joel makes, you could make yourself. Like you'd be like, oh yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, it's not like outlandish and crazy.
Yeah,
It's
in the
really
hospital
within
when he's like, nah, I don't want Ellie to die, so I'll kill everyone and take her. You're like, yeah, I could see myself making that decision because you spent so much time with Ellie.
like cultivating and building that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the end, when he lies to her, that's the moment where you're like, whew, don't know if I would have done that. But it's just like his like selfish need to like not lose her, and you're like, fuck, man.
It's like his second daughter that he just can't bear to lose again.
Yeah, it's just a great game. Symbolism in that game, oh boy, acting,
I know, right?
story.
Your man Troy
music.
Baker. Have you been watching them play through like?
I watched some of it. But where Joel's daughter dies in the beginning.
Yeah.
I watched the episode where they brought in the actress of Joel's daughter, and they were watching it back, and they were just like crying, and I was like, "Damn, this must have really been
like so powerful for them." Yeah.
More or less everything about that game is fucking fantastic. Like the graphics when at the time were, boy howdy,
definitely so good.
The score, like the directing, the cutscenes, the gameplay. Especially the acting. Oh boy, the acting.
Dude, did you know that David in that is Nolan North? I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw his name in the credits when I played it, and I was like, what? Huh? Good old Liam O'Brien voice directing that game. Good job.
Yep.
Good job,
Hell
Liam.
yeah. And Travis Willingham is all over that game too. And so is Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey's going to be in the second one pretty significantly, apparently.
Oh yeah, isn't she? She's going to be the villain.
Yeah. Or like... I don't know. Apparently, there's a lot of theories going around that like Ellie's got a sister or Ellie's mum or something is going to be in this game. But I am very excited for that game because Neil Druckmann, who's fantastic director,
who looks like a hunky Jesus.
He does hunky. Yeah, I don't know, man. That hair. Oh, give me that. For context, I guess Neil Druckmann is like the director,
creative
of the
director,
game.
Yeah. Game director now, but he was creative director, I think, starting off.
Yeah. He said that the first game, the main theme of The Last of Us 1 is love, and this main theme of the second one is going to be hate. So oof. That's a big oof, and I'm excited.
Well, obviously, you're going to have to reveal what happened at the end of Last of Us 1 to Ellie.
Yeah.
And that's gonna put a wedge between her and Joel.
Yeah.
Which I think it'll be the middle of the game, if it were to be.
Yeah, that seems like a big middle moment.
Like where they go their separate ways, and then they come back at the end.
Yeah, it's like the lake house. I don't know if it was the cottage scene from the first one, where he's like, "You're not my daughter," and you're like, "Fuck, Joel, why'd you say that, you dick?"
Also, I kind of feel like it would be weak if it were to be. And me personally, I think I might be, depending on how they build it up, it could be good. But if it did turn out that Ellie's mum or sister was there, I feel like it'd be kind of disappointing to me just because they basically state that she's just like abandoned anyway.
Yeah, but wasn't her mum like a firefly?
Yeah, friend of Marlene's, but she lived in like a boarding school, or like an orphanage, didn't she? In the comics, that's how she and Riley become friends.
Yeah, there's stuff in the Riley. There's stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Every comic.
Yeah, and all the things you can find of like the notes and stuff talking about her. Like I think there's a letter you can find that her mum wrote. Or something like that. And I don't know. Maybe they might be able to pull it off. I feel like if anybody could, it would be them.
Yeah, it's Naughty Dog. Yeah. I mean, they introduced Sam into Uncharted 4.
I was not
after like not mentioning him the entire time because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And then somehow made it off so good.
Yeah, when they were like, "It's his brother," I was like, "That's so lame." This is literally Fast and the Furious.
It's family.
But I was like, "Oh, this isn't gonna work, and this is gonna be lame, and I'm gonna hate it." And
I love it.
Fuck, I was wrong. It's great. Is that a dog I hear in the background?
Is that Jesse?
I think so. Jesse.
Sam has a dog, and it's the cutest fucking thing on the planet.
No, it is. I'm gonna take your collar off because you're being very loud with that collar on. I guess I have to leave this in now.
Yeah. Well, now you got to put up a photo, like a clickbait photo of your dog.
Oh yes, I'll. Oof. Let me.
We pet dogs? Question mark. With me with my hands up in the air with a wide open face. Clickbait me.
I also think I was gonna ask about this later on, but like moments in video games where you it's not just something you're watching or playing this or like watching or experiencing. It's like this moment could only make you feel this intensely because you're doing it. And I think The Last of Us has one of those moments when I remember it so vividly for 7 years ago because we were going to play all the multiplayer, but none of us wanted to play the multiplayer together until we'd finished the story.
Yeah.
Just in case. I don't even know. Just in case.
We dropped a little spoiler out there.
Yeah, because this is back in PS3 days, I'm pretty sure, where I don't know if they had party chat on PS3 yet.
They did later on.
They did later on for PS3, yeah.
We might be wrong, and they would have had it the whole time, we just never used it.
Yeah, maybe I just never used it, didn't know how to use it. It was like 2 in the morning, because I was up all night playing The Last of Us, trying to finish that goddamn story. But I also didn't want to rush it, you know?
Yeah, no.
I wanted to get through it, but I didn't want to, like... I wasn't rushing to get through it, I was just like... It was more of a, like, this is so good, I don't want to stop playing it.
Yeah, definitely.
And when... What's this context of the scene? Oh, you go to the university to find, like, the fireflies or something.
Are you talking about the giraffe bit?
No, when Joel's fighting that dude, and it's just, like, a regular fight, and you're just, like, pressing some buttons, and then Joel gets, like, knocked off the thing.
Oh, pushed off, yeah.
And he falls into the, like, rebar thing, and I was... even now when I'm talking about it, it makes me like anxious because at the time I was like, no, please don't kill him.
Yeah, because you're like, this is me. I'm so invested, and like the best part about Last of Us is you feel like Joel.
Yeah.
Because you're playing Joel, but also at the same time, you know you're being taken on this journey that you can't necessarily control.
That's the thing, is that sometimes you feel like Joel is you, and you are Joel, and then sometimes he's got like personal issues that he'll like bring up or say something, like in the lake house. I don't know if I think it's just a cottage. In the cottage scene.
It's a ranch.
The ranch. In the ranch scene where he's like, him and Ellie get in that huge argument, and he's like, you're not my daughter, and you're like, why? But,
Well, you're just intentionally saying it to hurt Ellie.
Yeah, but that's the amazingness of that scene, is that, like, I feel like the arguments in Naughty Dog games are real good, because sometimes it'll just resort to them, like, saying stuff to hurt each other, which is like, ugh, that's rough.
It's real, though.
Yeah, that shit happens.
It's like when you get so mad at someone, you just want to say that one thing that'll fucking break them down.
Yeah, and it's like, but why would I say that? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you don't mean it, but you're just doing it to hurt them.
Yeah. Oh, rough.
I haven't done it, but like, sometimes like flicks in your mind, I think, for everyone.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Definitely in these circumstances, the characters are like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. You're not my daughter. I don't care about you. And you're like, why would you? Joel!
Yeah. I think another game that does that really well is a little bit of recency bias, but game that... Yeah. Dude, like, that first scene where you're, like, burying the mum, but, like, you can tell it's such a different experience, because, like, playing God of War 1, 2, and 3, where it's just, like...
Yeah, you just gotta... Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's like non-stop action, games. Like, crazy.
Yeah, I prefer the new one to that style.
Well, the new one is, like, slower.
Yeah.
More purposeful, and it feels more adult. Like Kratos has really like grown up and become a dad, and he's like accepting the responsibility needed.
Yeah.
And that like the moments that are just like peaceful.
Yeah.
Are some of the best in the game.
There's so many moments where something will happen, and like they'll just get into an argument, and
also best boy in the game.
Boy. Yeah.
2019, year of the boy. Red Dead and God of War.
Boy.
It's alright, boy.
It's a very different like vibe of boy though. I feel Kratos is the like boy,
Caring.
and then Arthur's like the boy to his horse. Just a little alright boy. It's alright boy. Anyway, that was weird.
That's a good tangent. Have you seen the video game awards with the actor who plays
yeah.
Kratos? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, open it, boy.
Yeah, everyone loses their shit.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And especially when they get in, like Atreus will do something wrong, or Kratos will be a dick. They'll
he
have
just
like
he
an
like
argument.
loses his shit.
Yeah, he loses his shit.
That like Spartan rage comes out, and then he just
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. And he'll like be really fucking mean to Atreus sometimes, and you're like, just both of you just need to say sorry right now. And it's like, but they just don't. They just like bottle it up, and their emotions are just like you get the sense that Atreus and Kratos never really like spoke to each other much, unless it was like through the mum. And so now
And it's like it's never spoken about. It's all like just context clues.
Yeah, but you just
Which
get that vibe from like real life experiences that you know about.
Yeah. And like also in the scenes where he like loses his shit, he always takes his time, and then like you see the follow up, like when it's the scene at the start, where Atreus is firing on I think it's a deer, and it misses, and he's just like, boy, like, what are you doing, idiot? And then later, when they find the deer again, he's like chilled out, and he's like talking him through it.
Yeah. And
it's
I
just
think
like,
it's in that scene you can see his the like Spartan rage meter that you use in game. It fills.
Yeah.
And then he like takes a breath and it like depletes again, so you can see he's about to like wig out on his kid and like start screaming at him, but then he's like, oh.
But at the same time, you can also tell that he still loves his son. Yeah, you can still see this like love and care and the need to like nurture, and that like Kratos has really grown from being an all-out rage monster, you know?
Yeah, definitely. There's one part where it's just like a bunch of regular dudes show up or something, and they like grab Atreus, and you like that moment you're like, oh boy, you should leave. Kratos will fuck you up.
Even the stuff with Baldur.
Baldur, yeah.
Yeah, Baldur with his mother. Oh my god, my brain is blanking. Freya, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I originally, when I first played that game, I was a little disappointed in the way it ended, but then I realized that it's all about raising a child and the mistakes that you make along the way, and how what you do to correct them. And my man Corey Barlog. Hell yeah! Have you watched the documentary on raising Kratos?
I don't think I have actually.
Dude, it's so emotional.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I like him. I watched his there's some video he made. He was reacting to something. I think it was like the reviews when they came out.
Yeah, and he like cries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the Raising Kratos documentary.
Yeah, love it.
Highly recommend to watch.
I'll give it a watch.
Like if you want to see like what really goes into like game development.
Yeah.
And also like the purposeful nature of like every little thing in a game. That is 100% the documentary to watch. It's so good.
Yeah. I also really like that Odin isn't in it. He's just like...
Only his ravens.
His ravens are all over the place, and he's always like... You get the sense that he's always watching you. I love me some Odin.
Dude, hell yeah.
And then Thor, when Thor shows up at the end.
At the end, yeah. Ooh,
give me a sequel, please.
Hype. Man, I'm excited for the sequel to that game.
Oof. And Spider-Man?
Oh, yes. It honestly makes me so happy that Insomniac is back on a PlayStation, because that's what I feel like that always meant to be. Like, Sunset Overdrive was a fun game. I played through some of it. It just wasn't necessarily for me. But, like, oh, man. Ratchet and Clank?
Oh.
Boy. And, like, you knew as soon as they had, like, the, like, swing shot, like, you'd feel the movement and the swing shot on a PS2, that they were going to smash the movement in Spider-Man out of the park.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh.
I've also just remembered one that was probably a game that I played an absurd amount of times. It's Sly Cooper.
Oh, hell yeah. Sly Cooper 2?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Dude, that game actually, out of Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly is my favorite, but I also feel Sly has had the least amount of justice given to him.
Yeah.
He got an average end of the era PS3 like spin-off, which was
Yeah, they got re-released at the very least, I guess.
I just want a new one.
I know, I want like a big old like 4K remake.
I wouldn't even mind a remaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Murray is the best Murray is ever gonna be in Sly Cooper 2. Like, he's an actual, like, he's not like, I'm big and dumb. He's like, I am big and dumb, but I have so much fucking honor. Like, boy,
Yeah.
I'm Faramir in this
Is
situation.
this-
I'm showing my quality.
Oh, I used to play one of them heaps. It was either two.
Literally, tell me the level, and I will be able to tell you where it's from. What level you
I'm
think?
thinking about the one where you go to like Australia and Murray's.
Oh, that's 3.
Yeah, and Murray's like
Gurus?
a guru dude. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, because yeah. Oh man.
For me, I just love 3. I mean, sorry, 2 the most. I mean, 2's boss is pretty weak because it has Neela turning into Clockler. Spoilers if you haven't played it like fucking like 10 years ago.
The second one?
Yeah, the second one where the chick jumps into the clockwork.
Let me see. Second one was 16 years ago.
Yeah, well, fucking.
So,
oh my god.
I never really played the first one a lot.
The first one is first one is drastically different. I have to say the gameplay is the best it is in the third one.
Yeah, I think that's what drew
Hands
me to
down.
the third one is that it had some great gameplay and like some new stuff you could do, and it had like
But
the
this-
flashback. Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking of. I used to play 3 a lot when you go to the big island and fight some big robot or something, and then
Oh,
yeah,
it's like a weird like turtle monster that has Sly Cooper like in his arm.
and
3
then,
has the
he's
best
like,
game.
I flashback, and yeah.
I always wanted another Sly after playing Sly 3 and like them leaving it open. But
Yeah.
when I played the actual sequel, I was so sad. It was
Yeah.
so average. And Sly 2 to me will always be my favorite because the writing is so poignant and the characters really feel like a family. And also,
Yeah, I
fuck, it's
agree.
so dope to go pick some pockets.
Oh yes.
And like,
Yes.
I love the little
absolutely.
aesthetics. Like the little aesthetics made that game. Like when you sneak it, it's like do 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 do
Yeah. Oh man,
do 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 do.
it was so cool, so cartoony and just so cool. But they've
It's-
moved on to Sucker Punch has moved on to the Infamous series, which is now
Yeah.
maybe
Oh.
over. And,
Yeah, it's definitely over. And now
Ghosts
they're on
of
to Ghost of Tsushima. Did you see that trailer?
Yeah, very cool.
I'm actually like, I don't care. I don't care if it's bad. I'm gonna buy it. I am a Sucker Punch. Like, there's very few game companies I'm a homer to.
Yeah.
I'd say my top 5 for like game companies for me to like, I will pre-order anything. Recently, it's been CD Projekt Red because they've just been pumping out classics.
Yeah. What?
And I mean,
yeah.
they're the darlings at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'll just put them on honorable mentions. But top 5: Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, BioWare. For me, if it's a single player game, I will go towards. If
Yep.
it's multiplayer, could put it in the bin.
Put it in the bin with the Nazis.
Yeah, put it in the bin with the Nazis. Yeah, I will also go for Bungie because their gameplay is amazing. And then also the 5th one, where I would no doubt buy, I think it's Super Giant Games, because if you want like a reason of why games are fucking art,
Yeah.
just look at Supergiant's artwork,
I
like
like
Bastion,
Bastion, yeah.
Transistor. Have you played Hades?
No.
You're gonna like it already. It's a roguelike dungeon crawler, so it's like randomly generated, but essentially you play as Hades' son trying to escape from hell,
Hell yeah.
and the art is just so beautiful. Games as like visual art pieces is like Supergiant blows it out of the water every time.
Yeah.
I will not shut up about how good those games are. I was gonna say stuff like Bethesda, but Bethesda have like eaten ass recently. And
Yeah,
I'm
they have.
honestly like a lot of the bigger companies that I would originally buy games of, I'm just losing a lot of faith in. Really.
Yeah. I feel like I also feel like Rockstar is always a pretty good guaranteed. Like
Oh,
at
yeah.
least you're gonna have a lot to do. I mean, what are they like? Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead 2 recently. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and they recently changed their logo, and people think it's because there's another game coming out
Oh.
or to be announced. So that's a little hype
Oh my
thing to look out
goddamn
for.
Undead Nightmare.
Apparently they're going to do that on online DLC. It annoys me because there's so many games I want to play, but they all have like always online services with them now.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money is. So
Yeah.
it's like constantly updating the same game. So you better pick one game that you play consistently,
Oh yeah.
and then a few others that you just play a little bit of. For me, like I've already invested too much time into playing Destiny 2 to not.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that era of games, you could just play one for a weekend and that would be it. I feel like that's done. They take so much time and money to make, especially the video store aspect. Like you can't do that anymore because when you want to play a game, you have to put it in your PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, and then you have to like download the update and like install it onto your hard drive, and then
Yeah.
ugh.
Like it's kind of sad to me because it almost feels as though the single player games will always be there.
Yeah.
But the ones that will sell the most and always be the most popular are the massively multiplayer online games.
Yeah. Like Fortnite.
That really saddens me because my childhood was defined by single player stories.
Yeah.
And like eventually obviously online with like Halo 3 online,
Yeah.
like Last of Us online, Modern Warfare online, but like the things
That
that
was
stick
never
out the
something
most to
that.
me.
Yeah, that was never something that I thought was when I was a kid playing like Modern Warfare 2. The multiplayer stuff felt like something extra that I was like, this is pretty cool. Because I'd played the multiplayer, but I'd played it as offline, so it was just like me and a friend or something, just running around like Rust.
1v1 quick scopes.
1v1 quick scopes on Rust or something, but it was never the main attraction to the game. I'd never buy a game just for that, and now I feel like that's why people are buying games. That's why they're making them, so that they can, I don't know, sell loot boxes.
Yeah, because that's like no one's gonna buy a loot box for a single player game.
Yeah.
I'm glad the era of the loot box is coming to an end, I feel,
I
because
hope
of all
so.
the legislation around it. But the era of the season pass and always online services is gonna keep going on. Obviously, there'll always be single player games because like video games are very much an art medium.
Well, I feel like there's been a big, not a resurgence of them, but like the biggest ones that have the biggest like releases always seem to be the single players.
Yeah.
The ones people talk about. Like recently, it's been like Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead have been ones that people have just been
and
buzzing
Cyberpunk.
about. And Cyberpunk.
Also, shout out that fucking Persona 5 Royale's coming out this month, and boy howdy, I'm a little hype boy because
Royale, like Battle Royale.
no, like royal isn't like kingly. That's a fucking dope RPG, but that's a Japanese RPG. That's for all the otakus out there.
Kotaku?
Oof, R.I.P. Kotaku.
Oh, what happened to Kotaku?
It's not dead, but like, they're wanting the I'm pretty sure the parent company of Kotaku, they're like wanting them to put bigger ads.
Ads bad. Except sponsor this podcast, somebody. Honey,
I just added you on my browser. You're so good. Sponsor me, please.
Video games can be so expensive, but not if you've got Honey. See, that is a great lead into an ad read, but I don't have an ad to read. Honey, whose fault is that? Mine, because I haven't uploaded any videos. But
technically, when this one comes out, it'll be the second one.
Yes, this will be the second one, Honey. So you've got 2 videos to go back and look at.
And then when no one else watches this, we can rehash this episode in future.
Yes.
Chop it up, boom, extra content.
It'll be like when people who make podcasts cut out like the key parts of the podcast. Yeah, the highlights, and so
it's our highlights channel.
So we become our own highlights channel.
Oh shit, we are the highlights channel.
Damn. I feel like you can't really have that great of a, or maybe you can, highlights with like just audio. Maybe you can. Oh, do you watch the My Brother and Me podcast?
No.
Very good.
Is it good?
Yeah. The McElroy brothers, they do the Adventure Zone D&D like big podcast. Very nice brothers. Very good.
Is this Bants boys?
I think their podcast is like a lot of Bants, and they get people that asking questions and
some pre-Gunters? Shout out to the Gus and Eddie podcast. Oh. Also, I literally cannot stop watching MB Amber Jones. It just fucking is my like MB Amber Jones, like the latest one. Every time I watch it, I just fucking giggle.
I just watched the film student one. Gus did. It hurt me so badly. I have been to a film school, and I think if you are currently listening to this and you know me from film school, you're all cool, but there were some folks that are very similar to that skit. I'll put like a link to that skit, I guess, in the description.
Hey guys, I'm showing up on set, and we don't have any food for the entire day in a 12-hour shoot.
Especially the part about an actor being there that is
not needed.
Oh yeah. Well, I did editing at my film school, so I didn't really need to be on set ever.
Dreams.
And sometimes
you just heard things.
Sometimes I would be, and I'd be like, "Why? Why am I here? I'm not doing anything. You've just wasted a spot in the car." Anyway, video games, huh?
Yeah, back on topic.
What's your opinion on the whole? This will be a straightforward kind of answer, but just a discussion on the like crunch towards the end of a game. People will be working like ludicrous, like 70-hour.
Like Red Dead Redemption proposed 100-hour weeks.
Yeah. Yikes.
Fucking hell, it's 20-hour days if you're working 5 days. But they'd probably be working like 7 days a week, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think that's Cool. I mean,
I think this
obviously.
has always happened in the video game industry.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you already have an existing work culture to stop that work culture. And I just admire any time developers will acknowledge that happens. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is coming out in about 10 days,
Oh.
originally was delayed from its previous...
Way to date the podcast.
I know. Well, I mean, I already said Persona 5 Royale coming out at the end of the month.
Ugh.
So fucking Google that.
Ugh.
But it's hard when you already have an existing work culture to change it, and anytime devs, such as the Animal Crossing devs, like you delay your game to reduce that crunch, to like try and change that culture is like admirable. It's the same with Bungie was trying to reduce a lot of their stuff, so that they like didn't want to rush back people into updating their game that needed updates because they just wanted everyone to have like a good holiday break so they could reduce stress and like leave the burnout and crunch in the past, and I really respect that. So anytime a developer will acknowledge that burnout happens and take the steps to prevent it is just like a big plus in my book.
Yeah, especially I feel like it's the big like EA and stuff, or like this game's coming out at this time, so make it. And it's like, well, ugh.
A good one is Respawn with the new Star Wars game that came out and was apparently buggy as fuck.
Cool game though. I don't know, it's a bit more Dark Soulsy than I wanted. I'm not really a huge fan of Dark Souls. Ooh.
Oh, Sekiro is a good time. It's very hard.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't want to play something hard. You know, I'm just like, ugh, I just want to have a good chill time, you know? Chuck on me Lego Star Wars.
I'm unabashedly a big fan of Stardew Valley, so Animal Crossing is going to fit that, like, chill out niche for me.
Yeah.
Because I need another game where I can just, like, sit around with some relaxing music and unwind.
Some Minecraft vibes.
Oh, hell yeah. You're sitting like, doom, doom, then you're like placing torches in the cave.
Oh, when you play Minecraft to unwind a little bit, but then the cave mining gets too spooky for you.
You're walking around and you just hear, and you're like, oh,
I want to get out.
Also,
yeah, Burnout is real rough on like creative people, because you can't force like creativity. You gotta have some time off to like let it fester.
It has to be organic, otherwise it just feels forced too. Like the Cedar Project Red delayed their game because of crunch reasons, I believe it was.
I don't know if that's what The Last of Us have done, Naughty Dog.
I think they did too.
Or they just want some more time, maybe. Who publishes Naughty Dog? Sony.
Yeah, I think they might self-publish.
Well, they do it only to PlayStation, so they must have some sort of thing with Sony. Remember the Sony hack of like 2011 or something like that?
And then people got a free game at the end of it. Oh man, what a good time. Honestly, like, I think gaming has been one of the most influential hobbies that I've ever had in my life, and I'm definitely like, when it comes to gaming, I'm fucking addicted, to be honest. Like, there ain't a day I go by without like at least gaming a little bit. It's just a way to keep both your hands and your mind active, and like, for me, I really use it as like a way to relax. I'll just chuck on like a heavy story game. It's essentially just like a visual novel, like reading a comic book versus a book. It's like the next evolution of that to me. Even if this stuff doesn't necessarily have a story, such as like Halo 3, like Forge maps, where people from the community would make maps that you would all play, or in Skyrim, where you make your own shit, you make your own stories.
Yeah.
And like just a way to get lost and to just unwind and be like creative in a way where like nothing's gonna affect anyone. You can just have a chill, fun time.
Yeah.
Is why video games are like so important.
Or to make me feel something.
Okay, when was the last time you cried in a video game?
Oh,
and
boy.
Was it Red Dead Redemption 2?
I mean, it was, but I'm sure it was after. I'm sure there's been a more recent. The Walking Dead game.
Ooh, yeah, the Telltale one, the first season. I honestly think like a lot of humans are like, you're meant to have paternal and maternal feelings.
Yeah, it's just something about that in video games.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Something about taking care of something that is like precious, and you wanting to protect the innocence and really like help grow and develop people is, I think, instinctually what like we do as humans.
Yeah. And
it's something so powerful when you see it like done in a video game, such as like Last of Us or God of War. Yeah, there's a great couple of videos from Nakey Jakey. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description as well, because he's fantastic. Shout out to Nakey Jakey.
Shout out to Nakey Jakey. About like mums, and I think he's got a video about dads in video games. It's so good. They're just so... All his videos are just very like cozy.
So well researched.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very common thing to explore in video games. I feel like especially there's been the dad renaissance in video games.
Oh yeah, dad renaissance has definitely come back.
Yeah.
And I think it's extremely powerful. I feel like growing up as as a straight white male, I'm so underprivileged now.
Ooh.
White guys have it very easy.
Yes.
As far as what the world affords to us, but there's not a lot of good examples, at least for me personally, of having a solid dad role model all the time. Obviously my dad personally is he's a good dude. I wasn't necessarily taught a lot of the things of what it was to be a man. So having these strong, super strong dads generally get a way bigger appreciation of what it means to be a dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And what your dad or your parental figures have really done for you to really craft how you are as a person.
Yeah, especially recently with the dads that aren't perfect dads, like Joel and Kratos. They're trying, and that's cool.
Especially as for me as a fat kid recluse who used to sit and play video games all day, having strong male video game figures as something to aspire to is I felt was really important. And also the fact that there a lot of video games now are showing a lot more emotion from the male. Let your feelings out.
Yeah.
Don't bottle them up.
Yeah.
If you
don't
feel
be
a little down in the dumps, get your boy, have a chat, go see a therapist.
Yeah.
Feelings
play some video games. Play one where you just kill people that are wearing ski masks, so you don't have to think about their personal identities at all.
Take that one out of context.
Yep.
I feel like that's just going to become a meme. Every outrageous thing we say.
Put Nazis in the bin.
That's just true.
I mean, yeah.
Coming from NZ and seeing I was watching the Bernie Sanders rally and fucking white supremacists with Nazi flags come up, and I'm like,
I know.
Dog.
I know.
Put you you guys go in the bin.
Yeah.
There's trash, but then why are you revering the one thing that literally threatened your country?
I know.
They killed 6 million people, but you're yeah, this is cool to do in the 21st century.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that New Zealand had was those fucking dudes. They went to the Auckland Museum, did the Sig Heil thing in the Nazi section of the museum. But I feel the difference between New Zealand and I don't want to get too political with America, but let's just alright. Second episode of the podcast, let's spill the beans. Trump? No. There you go. That's my opinion on him. Trump? No.
Yeah, no. Coming from a really Auckland, New Zealand is super multicultural. So we're used to so many different people, a wide variety of races of people, and everyone has their own valid opinion. I mean, New Zealand has undercover racism.
Yes.
No doubt.
It do. The bad shit you hear on the news. Because when those dudes went into the Auckland Museum and were like, "Hey, Nazis," the entirety of New Zealand was like, "Go away. Get in the bin."
Yeah, Nazis in the bin.
Nazis in the bin. And we were like, okay. Yeah, that's just what you feel about Nazis, man. Especially in video games. I feel like Nazis are all over video games.
Yeah, always the villain.
And that's because you can... If you chuck on a video game and you're playing against Middle Eastern people, you're kind of oh, this is a very complex situation going on here, and I don't know how I feel about it. And then Nazis, you're oh, Nazis. Nazis are bad guys.
They're just evil.
Yeah.
Racist.
You're oh yeah, I can kill these guys. Easy. Yeah. Especially, and then there's Nazi zombies. Dude.
Dog.
I'm gonna kill these
already
guys.
Dead. Yeah.
So easy.
Exactly.
Not in real life. I'm talking about video games here, if you've taken this clip out of context.
Yeah, take that out of context.
Nazis? I can kill them so easily. Oof.
Legitimately,
I'm gonna be on Fox News saying that shit.
I just don't understand how racism has been really brought back up in America again.
Yeah.
Because it was
I don't know, man.
There was so much good progress, and I think it's really regressed, become a lot more obvious because of the Trump stuff. Because it feels like they're our president's racist. Okay, this is just a very bad generalization of.
It's it's the bad Americans. There's bad people everywhere, and we're just talking about bad Americans at the moment. It's like that, I think it's John Mulaney bit, where the horse in the hospital, and he's talking about how, Trump is the horse, and the United States is the hospital. Well, if there's a horse in the hospital now, then I'm gonna say the N-word on TV, and it's you can't do that. I feel like with Trump coming up and saying whatever he wants. People have just been like, oh, well, I don't like these kinds of people. And it's like, well, okay, shut up.
What happened to tolerance?
Get in the bin. This is going to be our catchphrase whenever we start shit-talking something. Get in the bin.
Something we clearly really have an idea on, but we clearly have an opinion. Look, everyone, respect my opinion because it matters so much compared to everyone else's. My opinion is number one.
Yes. Hey, you can...
Where's my /s on Reddit when I need it?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, you can have whatever opinion you like, but you don't be a dick. Hey, that's my advice to you.
What?
Don't be a dick.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah,
just be nice.
Don't be a dick.
Yep.
And, secondly, be open-minded. If someone has a different opinion, unless they're a Nazi.
Because you know what we do with Nazis. Tell me in the comments what we do with Nazis, everybody.
Yeah, put them in the bin. Yeah.
We put them in the motherfucking bin. I also feel like this has been a big kind of like topic. This discussion has been big in video games recently with like representation in video games. Because
oh my god, so many salty people get so salty when there's like the inkling of a colored woman in a video game. They're like, why are they just putting colored people in? You're like,
especially the biggest one that I remember. She's white, but
you thinking like Laura Bailey as Nadine in Uncharted 4?
Oh yeah, that was a
big one.
That was a big one as well. I guess I could see where people are coming from complaining about that she's playing a person of color, but apparently they hadn't designed her or something. There was some, I don't understand how games are made, but there was some thing where they were like, oh, this is her, and then cast Laura Bailey, who is fantastic, and if you shit talk Laura Bailey, I'll kill you.
Okay.
If you don't like Laura Bailey, get in. Shout out to Critical Role and every talented voice actor and all the other. They've probably been in a lot of stuff. Yes.
And they deserve more money because they work hard to produce art.
They do. No, I was thinking, well, also related to Critical Role with Ashley Johnson, with Ellie. How when Ellie was...
Oh, they thought it was Ellen Page?
No, when they announced, or they revealed the whole thing in Left Behind when Ellie was gay. She kissed Riley and stuff. And everyone was like,
why are you making feminist females who are lesbian or colored? Don't put that in my game. And you're like, if you were in the perspective of literally anyone else, if someone, say I was not a straight white male.
Yes.
But instead, like a female and a person of color, I would love to see, like someone who I can see myself being, like in a game.
Yeah.
Like as something to really like invest myself in.
Yeah. I've been represented in movies. That's what I don't understand, because, like, I've never not had representation. And as a kid, I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. That's a white dude in this movie. But now I'm like, I get it, you know? You watch a movie and you're like, oh, this is important, because there's this person, and I relate to them because they look like me. And then it's like...
So now we'll get called in the comments, you fucking soy boy snowflake.
You're a soy boy. Give me that.
Legit.
Call me that soy boy.
If I was not me, I would love to have a thing to someone to relate to and see myself being.
Yeah.
And I honestly think further representation and diversification is only going to lead to more complex stories, like the ability to mix in different cultures and really like faithfully recreate things. So like movies like Black Panther is so important.
Yeah.
For representation of like African Americans.
Yeah.
Like to see have a full African American cast aside from like Morgan Freeman pretty much.
Morgan Freeman.
Sorry, not Morgan Freeman.
Martin Freeman. Yeah.
Martin Freeman. It's just so important to have everyone like represented on screen and to be able to have like a hero to look up to in cinema or in games. Because if I didn't have that, I'm not sure if I would be the same person I am, to be honest.
Yeah, and like Stan Lee. Oh. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Said that when he made Spider-Man, he made the costume. I don't even know if this was him or if this was Steve Ditko. Both of them, maybe.
Also, shout out to Jack Kirby. He gets way underrepresented in all of Marvel's things, and I want to write that injustice.
It's true. He said that he made the Spider-Man costume like full body so that any kid reading it could relate to that, which is cool as heck, Stan Lee, especially for the 60s. Like when Peter takes the mask off, you're like, oh, that's a white kid.
Yeah.
You know? And then having someone like
Miles Morales.
Miles and like Gwen, and
Yeah.
I can't think of any others. Oh, like Penny Parker.
Yeah, Penny.
Another
By the way,
episode.
Jack Kirby collaborated with Stan Lee to make Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, the X-Men, Doctor Doom, the Watchers, Magneto, Inhumans, Black Panther, Spider-Man.
Dang.
He worked on Submariner. The man was fundamental for Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Stan Lee does deserve a lot of the credit, but Jack Kirby needs to at least be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sure we'll have an episode on comic books.
Oh, hell yeah. Just two dudes whose opinions don't matter who go on weird tangents and rants.
Yep. That's what we've done so far, hasn't it? But that's okay. Yep. That's what this podcast is, kind of, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
We're definitely going to talk about it more. I think this is just a lot more of like a general discussion rather than like a focused discussion.
This is a general discussion. I think, yes, but on the next episode, we'll talk about how games have kind of developed for us and how we kind of started playing some nerdy-ass games, like fantasy games and stuff, and how that has developed into our, what do I even describe it? Shared passion of Dungeons and Dragons, I guess.
Yeah.
That's underselling it, because yikes.
Big yikes. When you and your friends finally organized that weekly D&D game.
Oof.
Elation.
That's like crack right in my veins.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a bit of a like natural progression from video games to we've had a bit of a flow
definitely.
with wrestling into video games and then video games into Dungeons and Dragons. We'll probably talk about this next episode, but I feel like the stigma of Dungeons and Dragons is kind of...
It really has lessened and pretty much gone.
It's lessened. Yeah.
It's only to the older population where they're like...
Yeah, the boomers.
What is it? Are we in the satanic panic again?
So yeah, that was our discussion on video games and some other stuff.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we take a little moment to thank our sponsor, our soon-to-be sponsor, Honey.
Soon-to-be sponsor, Honey. Seriously, guys, if anybody
tweet at Honey.
Everybody watching, tweet. I don't know. Do they have a Facebook?
Yeah.
If they do,
to those 5 people watching,
people watching, tweet them, tag them on. I don't know. Send them a DM on Instagram. I don't even know if they have an Instagram, but DM them. Send them a message on Facebook, email them, everything. I'm trying to get Honey sponsorship. Fax them.
Yeah.
Send them a letter by pigeon. And I guess Sherry's Berries. You're pretty cool too, Sherry's Berries, but...
Hell yeah, shout out to Sherry's Berries if you're still a fucking company.
If you're still a company...
sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. Maybe don't send us any berries. I mean... If you've got a real good delivery policy, I guess, you could give it a go. But, oof, it's gonna be there's gonna be some stale berries. Although I guess berries don't really go stale, but it'll be moldy. They go moldy, and I don't want to do that. But if you sponsor me and they are moldy, I'll pretend to eat it in mic and say how great it is, and no one will know unless they listen to this episode. And I go, yummy Sherry's berries. Oh God, what have we done?
Yeah. Wow, this turned into a roundup into just a fucking rant.
Yeah,
just a rant. Vomit diarrhea.
But a rant on what?
Sponsors.
Nazis, put them in the bin.
Put them in the bin.
Sponsors, hey, put them in my email. Come here.
We love you. All right, bye guys.
We'll see you on the next episode.